There were moments in history, chillingly close, when humanity came dangerously near to global catastrophe. Times when the fate of billions, the very future of civilization, hung by a thread dependent on a single decision, a fortunate malfunction or a gut feeling. We live in a world that feels stable, predictable. But beneath that veneer, history reveals a terrifying truth. Our global stability is far more fragile than we dare to imagine. Today, we delve into those hidden hours, those critical seconds when the world teetered on the brink. The year is 1962. The Cold War rages, and the world holds its breath as the US and the Soviet Union confront each other over missiles in Cuba. But one of the most perilous moments wasn't a presidential declaration. It happened deep beneath the waves. On October 27th, a US Navy destroyer detected Soviet submarine B-59. Unaware that the sub was carrying a nuclear-tipped torpedo, the American forces began dropping non-lethal depth charges, signaling it to surface. Aboard the B-59, conditions were hellish. Extreme heat, dwindling air, and the concussive blasts of the depth charges. The submarine's captain, Valentin Savitsky, believed war had already broken out. He ordered the nuclear torpedo to be armed, stating, "We're going to blast them now. We will die, but we will sink them all." However, for the nuclear torpedo to be launched, all three senior officers on board had to agree. The political officer, Ivan Sidorov, agreed with Savitsky. But the third officer, Second Captain Vasily Arkhipov, the commodore of the entire submarine fleet, stood firm. Despite the pressure, the claustrophobia, and the deafening explosions, Arkhipov calmly yet resolutely argued against the launch. He insisted they surface and await orders from Moscow. His cooler head prevailed. Arkhipov's veto prevented what would almost certainly have been a full-scale nuclear exchange, saving countless lives and potentially the planet. One man, under unimaginable pressure, prevented Armageddon. Fast forward to 1983. Cold War tensions are at an all-time high, exacerbated by rhetoric and recent military incidents. On September 26th, Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov was on duty at Serpukhov 15, the secret command center for the Soviet Union's early warning satellite system. Suddenly, the system blared an alert. A single intercontinental ballistic missile had been launched from the United States, heading towards the USSR. The highest alert level flashed. Petrov, a man whose duty it was to report such an event up the chain of command immediately, hesitated. The protocol was clear. Report the launch, and the Soviet leadership would then decide on a retaliatory strike. But Petrov had a gut feeling. He reasoned if the US were to launch a first strike, it would involve hundreds of missiles, not just one. A few minutes later, the system reported a second missile, then a third, fourth, and fifth. The computer declared a full-scale attack was underway. But Petrov's logic held. Still too few missiles for a full-scale first strike. He suspected a system malfunction. Instead of relaying the alarm, Petrov declared it a false alarm to his superiors, betting his career and the world's survival on his own judgment. Investigations later confirmed his suspicion. A rare alignment of sunlight on high-altitude clouds had confused the satellite sensors, making them appear like missile launches. Stanislav Petrov's calm, rational decision, overriding automated warnings, single-handedly prevented a catastrophic retaliatory strike that would have almost certainly led to global nuclear war. His failure to follow protocol saved us all. Just weeks after Petrov's fateful night, the world again stood unknowingly on the brink. In November 1983, NATO launched Able Archer 83, a routine command post exercise simulating a conventional attack escalating to a nuclear one. This wasn't just any exercise. It incorporated several new, highly realistic elements, simulated US presidential directives, radio silence, coded communications, and the involvement of heads of state. The Soviets, already paranoid due to heightened Cold War tensions and recent events, mistakenly interpreted these realistic elements as a potential cover for a genuine first strike. Soviet intelligence agencies, particularly the KGB and GRU, were convinced that Able Archer 83 was not merely an exercise, but the final preparations for a real nuclear attack on the USSR. Their response was chilling. They placed their nuclear forces on high alert, preparing for a preemptive strike. Pilots in East Germany and Poland were loaded into their cockpits. The world was closer to nuclear war than at any point since the Cuban Missile Crisis, arguably even closer. It was only through careful observation by Western intelligence, who noted the unusual Soviet military activity combined with a gradual scaling back of the exercise by NATO, that the Soviet leadership eventually stood down from their heightened alert. This incident highlighted the terrifying reality of miscalculation and misunderstanding in an age of weapons of mass destruction. A routine exercise misinterpreted nearly sparked the end of the world. These three events, seemingly disparate, share a terrifying common thread: the extreme fragility of global stability. Whether it was a technical error, a communication breakdown, or a profound misunderstanding, each moment demonstrated how easily humanity could have stumbled into irreversible catastrophe. Our world, with its complex political systems, advanced technology, and powerful weaponry, isn't inherently stable. It exists on a knife's edge, constantly maintained by vigilance, diplomacy, and critically, the sound judgment of individuals. In each instance, it was not an algorithm or a protocol that saved us, but human insight, skepticism, and courage. Archipov's reasoned dissent, Petrov's logical defiance, and the cautious de-escalation by NATO. These weren't grand strategic maneuvers. They were small decisions by individuals operating under immense pressure, decisions that reverberated across the globe, silently protecting all of us. Modern civilization, with all its technological marvels and interconnectedness, still depends heavily on the most ancient and unpredictable factor: human judgment and responsibility. The lessons from these near misses are profound. They remind us that the greatest threats often aren't external invaders or natural disasters, but rather our own errors, misunderstandings, and the potential for miscalculation. The world has been saved countless times, not by heroes in shining armor, but by ordinary people making extraordinary decisions in hidden moments. Their choices shaped the world we inhabit today, a world that could have been very different. If you want to understand the hidden moments that truly shaped history, the near misses and the unsung heroes that allowed us to reach this very moment, then subscribe to this channel and help us to grow.